Today we are going to share a couple of demos prepared with ArcGIS Hub, based in this time-lapse video. The first demo is a digital twin of Maracaibo City, whose zoning is published in ArcGIS Hub. We can share development scenarios and gather their feedbacks, obtaining statistics, dashboard graphs, and scenes published from Urban. Depending on the privacy settings, feedbacks can be posted by users of ArcGIS Online groups or by Open Public. When an opinion is played and ArcGIS Hub is updated, the results are recalculated and we are able to see the last expressed feedbacks. Another resource that we can use is the information update through this tool group developed with Experience Builder. The first one allows to consult and update the real estate market. Within the broad set of indicators contained in this Maracaibo digital twin, we will specifically access the real estate market indicator. Here we meet compiled information of some representative buildings and a dashboard with the location of videos captured with the drones expandable to full screen. However, the most interesting is the possibility of visualizing referential prices of offered estates. To see this, we can update the data of the offers through either this form or by the Survey123 app on Field. We complete the sale information and the location of the building within the map. Once the registration is validated, we update the real estate information platform. When we access the real estate market indicator again, we can see the new registered offer. A button allows to display this tool in a new browser tab. A second available resource is the inclusion of the cadastral registry indicator within the zoning plan of an urban county. This includes about 100,000 inhabitants distributed in almost 9,000 properties. In each parcel, the population is indicated in reddish tones, while the estimated employment is represented in blue. When selecting the suitability scenario and accessing the Edit Experience mode, we see in green tones the estimated suitability for urban development. By opening this design scenario, parcels can be selected according to their suitability value or other attribute of each estate. Each parcel has its own population, household and jobs information, and urban parameters depending on its zoning. Each zoning has its digitized normative reference foldable in a pop-up tab. Returning to overview, we see a few hundred projects registered in the digital twin. To access the project of this house, we change to the satellite view and appreciate the urban context expressed with a ArcGIS City Engine scene layer. The project file describes its impact indicators and allows consulting its BIM model. Each construction phases and disciplines or turning on or off layers to display the description of each construction component. We also can explore environmental responses to factors such as sunlight and shadows. The third resource emerged from the power consumption indicator, which has been included as source for a prototype of our energy use master plan. Visualizing the consumption on the grid of the city for 2011, we carefully analyze this area of 145 hectares, where the energy bill per day is expressed in the height of each prism of 220 meters by side. Using the Slide Objects feature, appreciate the consumptions by subscriber type, residential below, retails in the middle, and large stores above. We adapt Urban to record the consumption on quantities of these types of subscribers. Residential are counted as number of households, retails in the population indicator, and stores as jobs. We see the total consumption of entire areas as well as carbon emissions. Accessing the types of subscribers in this land use plan, we see 3 levels of average of each type of subscriber, After select this high consumption cell, we see a huge amount of consumption by 12 department stores of a shopping center. By selecting the cell, we see total number of subscribers, as well as consumption and carbon emission per day. We can achieve a more efficient scenario by promoting this reduction of the average daily consumption of those 12 large stores with the reduction of greenhouse gases. Another scenario considers incorporating prosumers. In this cell with a 5-star hotel, we have no reduced average consumption, but rather a fossil generation has been incorporated to compensate part of the power demand. We created a special space use type with a negative energy index, which compensates the positive coefficient of other uses in the cell. This compensatory character is appreciated with enabling the underground view, where generation is seen as a purple prism below the Earth. In the same way, we prepared a scenario with green and sustainable solar energy generation connected to a smart grid to attend the demands of the shopping center, and that it aims not only to satisfy part of that energy needed, but also even to balance the fraction of its carbon emissions. Through the Catalog tab, additional to compiling urban data generated with ArcGIS Urban, we can access an indicative story map. There, we embed an ArcGIS Urban digital twin with its indicators, detailed records with 3D view about the projects included in the city model, and even plans with updated feedbacks like the ones at the beginning of this presentation. Through ArcGIS Hub, we can access the details of each compiled information, and this demo has been based on our publication available through internet. This second demo is a plan for the neighborhood of Campo Alegre in Chacao, Caracas. Over a mesh generated with Drone2Map, we developed an architectural proposal that considers the near roads of its urban placement. We see the space use types of sidewalks, driveways, and buildings with the current typical impacts. If we develop a scenario that aims to achieve LEED certification, the public space is now for pedestrians with boulevards and service roads, with optimized space use types, including those placed on the building. Thus, we obtain formally similar proposal, but with quite different impacts. We can visualize the impact indicator of this traditional scenario, including the building and its near urban environment. We select these areas using the freehand selector. Displaying only the selection, we obtain the capacity metrics with its impact indicators. Using the snipping tool, we copy the impact dashboard of the proposal and reserve it for later. In the LEED scenario, we select the same areas incorporated in the proposal. We can compare the results bringing the previously captured image. Therefore, population and household are similar, but jobs have increased by teleworking in residential use and new cafes in public space. Consumption, parking, and use of vehicles, transfers to work, and other environmental impacts were reduced within the third carbon and sustainability paradigm. In this way, incorporating public space into the balance of requirements and impacts can join the reuse of wastewater as irrigation, the development of green areas to compensate the carbon footprint, and the recycling of solid waste in the same place where it is produced, improving the ecological balance of the city. From the selected scenario, we can create an urban project with the same resultant metrics, but including the disciplines contained in a BIM model, like this example. We can visualize levels, turning on and off certain layers, and doing queries about its components, besides using some functionalities of ArcGIS Urban. With a sunlight and shadows exploration, we can appreciate some environmental effects of the proposal. Another capability lets us see some lines of sight from the building to surroundings, also to slide objects to understand impacts of the proposal on the urban skyline. Placing BIM models into ArcGIS Urban can facilitate the achievement of a real sustainable certified architecture under your design approach. We invite you to visit our YouTube channel, where in our research about Latin American urban planning, we have published videos of digital twins developed in Venezuela, Colombia, Chile, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia. Likewise, we invite you to follow our publication on Instagram. For any question, you can contact us through our Esri Venezuela account. Thank you very much for your attention.